is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Well, welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. If you want to help support my channel, at the description box below, please, the very top link takes you to my membership page. We got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. Then finally, there's a link right underneath it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,700 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I ain't putting stuff in this group down there 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, yeah, it just keeps on going, right? Well, yesterday, there was OTA #1, which really was not much more than like a glorified golf outing. I think they went in, they had like a, whatever it was, 45 minutes. I don't know what they did, like much of nothing. There was a golf outing that they had afterwards. And so it was, wasn't much going on for the OTA #1. But OTA #2 happened today. Of course, there's so many restrictions going on. And, obviously the length of time that they can be out there. Of course, there ain't no contact. There's no pads. There's helmets. There's shorts. But, there's not, there's no jamming at the line. There's no pass rush. Oh, the pass rush looked great. Oh, no, the offensive line, the run game was incredible. No, there's none of that. Yeah, basically, what Dabes was calling it was pretty much like a passing camp, right? Which is pretty much, it's not much you can do. He spoke with the media afterwards. So, there's some things you picked up on and all that. So I'm going to go over that in just a minute here. But once again, it's just OTAs. There's not a lot going on. It's great. It's great. The ball is rolling, right? Right, the guys are out there with the helmets on and everything like that. All the quarterbacks obviously got into some action and everything like that. Being in the Facebook groups, I guess Shedeur Sanders is never going to be the story that never quits, never die. Somebody posted he was, once again, OTAs. I don't know. Somebody, one of the giant groups, posted Shedeur Sanders was apparently like 7 out of 9 for 3 touchdowns. So I guess he's a Hall of Famer. I guess I don't know. Anyway, okay. So what happened in some of the OTAs? Jaxson Dart did take some first team reps. Malik wasn't in there. Neal is a guard. Cool. And Jameis Winston is, Jameson. Apparently, one thing I also saw too, which I think one of the Facebook groups might have been Jameson's first pass in OTAs. Hard to believe. Was intercepted. I love Jameson. As I've said it, I wish I had a penny for every time. He'll throw you in a game, but also he'll throw you out of a game. But so if his first pass was intercepted, I wouldn't doubt it one bit. Daboll said that the Giants have a detailed plan for how they will divide up practice reps among the 4 quarterbacks. Really you know, if even if Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan gets on the practice squad, so I'd have a hard time believing somebody won't pick him up, just because what he did do. I mean, the Giants, you know, have it's not. It is cool. I don't want to say quarterback friendly, but it can be, you know, very good, but it's not easy. But, you know, what Tommy, you know, did a couple of years ago, right? The win against the Packers. He won 3 games. So he's proven, you know, he can win with a crappy team. Okay, so, you know, with their quarterbacks, I mean, you know, whoever winds up getting put on that practice squad, I mean, obviously Dart's not going on the practice squad. That's not happening. Russ Wilson's not going on the practice squad. You know, it kind of makes you think, you know, I guess Jameson would probably be on the team. But then, I mean, I said, if we wind up putting Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan on the practice squad, I don't know how long he's going to last there, because he, you know, quite possibly, you know, for some quarterback needy team, he may not last very long on the practice squad. Let's see. So, Connie Hughes of SNY did the math on what the plan looked like during Wednesday's OTA, the first one media had access to. So that math challenged media members like myself. So Connie Hughes did the math. So the final team quarterback rep breakdown it was 7 on 7s and 11 on 11s, right? So Russell Wilson had 15 reps, all with the starters. Jameis Winston had 15 reps, all with the backups. Jaxson Dart had 14 reps, 3 with the starters. Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan had 4 reps, all with the reserve team. So that also kind of, you know, as you believe in, you know, with the reserve team, you know, he's looking at the practice squad. Giants had promised that Dart, whom they traded up to get, would get sprinkled in on occasion with the starters to see how he reacted. They did not waste time implementing that plan. Cool. Dart's 3 reps with the starters came in a goal line situation. They included a touchdown pass, a run for a score, and an interception by Micah McFadden. Now, the Micah McFadden one, I think, might have been the last rep of the. I thought he picked the pass off at the end, the last rep. So, as he had done during rookie minicamp, Daboll spent as much time with Dart as he could. Over close to Jaxson Dart during his session. So there's Ed Valentine. He has I guess it maybe his, I don't know, his video, not his video, maybe his camera or whatever, taking a video. It says, don't know if you can see clearly, but Brian Daboll hovered close to Dart during this session. So he's spending time with Dart. Right. Let's see. Oh, they're also talking about probably joint practices. Hopefully we can get another joint practice in there. Well, the thing is that I guess we're not going to be doing the Lions because we're not practicing against them. So Giants face the Bills, the Jets, and the Patriots this preseason. As of now, no joint training camp practices are scheduled. That, though, doesn't mean that there won't be any. I mean, the way it usually winds up working is maybe have the Lions come here, right? Or we go out there, whatever, and we have some joint practices, and then you have the preseason game against them. So, but look for something to pop up. That's for sure. Let's see. The Bills already have joint practice scheduled with the Lions. With those in place, debatable whether Buffalo would want to hold sessions with the Giants. The Giants face the Patriots during the regular season, so joint practices with New England seems unlikely. That would leave the Jets as a possibility. That would be cool. I mean, because we had joint practices. Let's not forget with the last year with the Jets. So Evan Neal was a guard, right? Yes, the 4th-year offensive lineman was a guard on Wednesday. Neal, though, did little. He took a few reps at left guard with the second unit. Neal did not appear to get any reps during the 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 periods. But, I mean, we got a lot of guards. Yeah, a lot of guards. I mean, between Aaron Stanley, Kubas, GVR, Neal. Oh, even maybe, you can even think, possibly think about Joshua Zudo. Right? If they could just keep him maybe a guard. Let's go, Giants. You got it, brother. You got it, Joey. So I mean, we got a lot of guards. I mean, right. So we go. Okay, they brought it here. James Hudson was the left guard. Left tackle Andrew Thomas and left guard John Runyon Jr. So that's not for a while. We pretty much got John Runyon Jr. pretty much figure left guard, right? Right guard, we got a lot of guys, a lot of competition there. So you got John Runyon Jr. So both those guys were injured. Hudson, a left tackle, Aaron Stinney, left guard, Michael Schmitz at center, Van Roten, a right guard, and Jermaine Illuminor was at right tackle. Van Roten's 35. He's been in the league since 2012. Whew. Then, of course, there's been the legends coming to speak to the Giants. Now, there was one of the videos out there, obviously, when LT came and visited, right? Howard Cross, a member of the 1990 Giants winning Super Bowl team, closed practice on Wednesday by speaking to players. Eli Manning, Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, and LT have all spoken with the team this spring. It's something I thought about at the end of the season, getting ready for the upcoming season, Daboll said. I think it's good for these players that are playing for this organization here from guys that have done it at a high level, not just from the New York Giants, but the National Football League. I mean, you got Eli who won 2 Super Bowls. Howard Cross won the 1 Super Bowl. LT spoke to him. He's got the 2 Super Bowls. Michael Strahan talked to him. He's got the 1 Super Bowl. Justin Tuck talked to him. He's got 2 Super Bowls. So everybody they have come and talk in there, right, is, I has won a Super Bowl. Now, does that mean that he won't have Tiki Barber speaking to him? Who knows? But everybody who has spoken to the Giant players so far has won at least 1 Super Bowl with the Giants. Here we go. The Jameis Winston experience. This could not have been scripted more perfectly. Jameis Winston, the boom or bust backup quarterback who joined the Giants this offseason, threw an interception on his first pass Wednesday. It was his first pass. Oh, my God. In a goal line drill, Winston, who had 154 career touchdown passes and 111 career interceptions, threw a pass into a crowd, and safety Dane Belton came out of the pack with it. One thing I love about Belton, seems that the guy does not seem to get a whole lot of playing time, but when the guy's on the field, things happen. He's either getting a fumble or getting an interception. As he'd done during rookie minicamp, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka was again on the walkie-talkie on Wednesday calling in plays. So Kafka is the offensive play call from 2022 and 2023. We got here. Got some takeaways here. All right. Giants spent the day working in the red zone around the 10-yard line. Obviously, with the OTAs, as what we saw wind up freaking happening, like with Andrew Thomas, right, and all and everything. Against the Cowboys, one of the things you don't want, especially these OTAs, is guys sprinting, doing fly patterns, running all over the field, So they're taking it easy. Everything is in close, right? Russell Wilson kicked off the scoring with a touchdown pass to Eric Wright. Wilson showed off his touch on another touchdown later in practice to wide receiver Darius Slayton, now wearing number 18 on the left. He was on the left side of the end zone. Slayton in turn caught another touchdown pass on the next series, this time from Jameis Winston in the back of the end zone. The defense wanted a review to check if the veteran wide receiver got both feet in bounds first. Winston threw 4 touchdowns from close range on the day. He found Jalen Hyatt on a nice play. We're going to be talking about Jalen Hyatt in a little bit here. He also threw one to wide receiver Montrell Washington. who spent the past 2 seasons with Kansas City after being drafted by Denver in 2022. Then threaded the needle on another one to tight end Greg Dulcich. Rookie quarterback Jaxson Dart, whom the Giants traded up, counted for 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, and 1 rushing. Fittingly, the first one was to undrafted wide receiver Juice Wells Jr., who he is his college teammate. Dart also connected with Hyatt in the back of the end zone, and then running back Turbo Miller, who lived up to his Turbo nickname to get the edge. Miller did the same thing in the prior series, that time taking a pitch to the house. The dude's got some juice. It would really, I'm not sure if he could, if he's like any good at returning kicks or anything like that. Because, I mean, Turbo seems to really suit him very well. Very, very well. I mean, if you can get that dude in some open space. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Since he recovered a fumble on the opening kickoff, his NFL debut, opening kickoff, Dane Belton recovered a fumble. Safety Dane Belton has shown a nose for the football. It's amazing. It really is. I mean, we're not looking at Ronnie Lott or Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed or nothing like, you know what I mean? As far as like, being a Hall of Fame, whatever. But I'll tell you what, the dude freaking finds the football, or the football finds him, however you want to look at it. He got off to another fast start this spring, snatching an interception at the goal line in the middle of the field. I guess that was the one Jameis Winston threw to him. A linebacker, Mike McFadden, capped the day with an interception of his own. See other notable plays. Tyler Nubin and cornerback Art Green nearly had interceptions. While no defensive player is happy about missing out on a takeaway, Nubin was particularly mad at himself for not securing it. Belton snipped out a quarterback run for what would have been a tackle for loss. Linebacker Chris Board, who is a special teams demon, who came over from Baltimore this offseason, chased down a short pass to the sideline. Darius Murisal broke up a pass to begin his second campaign. The 6th-round draft choice gained valuable experience last year from playing 15 games and making 7 starts. Outside linebacker Brian Burns, the only defensive player to start all 17 games for the Giants last year, shot into the backfield for what would have been a chase-down sack. The veteran edge rusher is up to 54.5 career sacks in 6 seasons. So the remaining, they got May 30th, then June 2nd and 3rd, June 5th, June 9th and 10th, June 12th, 13th, and June 17th through 19th will be minicamp. So we still got some stuff to go. And then you figure, I guess June 19th is the last day, right? But then that's basically is when then you have like that 5-week hiatus, right? You got June 19th. After that's over with, everybody disappears for like 4 or 5 weeks. You come back like, I guess, I don't know what day it is. They're coming back. It's like July 20th, 21st, or 22nd, somewhere around there. And that's when training camp starts, and that's when whatever it is, like a week so later, you got the Hall of Fame game, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony and all that, and then the preseason, and then off and running. Holy crap. Whew, man. That's what I love about the football. It's always like something going on to keep you interested. Right? I mean, if you love football, you're always interested, right? But I mean, it always seems like there's something going on. There's 5 weeks there from like the middle of June to like the middle of July, where like everybody's off. But once they come back, it's just off and running. Love it, absolutely love it. So Daboll, luckily for him, I feel sorry for this guy. I mean, it comes with the territory, right? If you don't want, the questions and all that stuff and the anxiety and all that stuff, you just don't take the job. It's that plain and simple. But it's it is what it is. You sign up. You're the coach of the New York Football Giants. You got to talk to the media. It is what it is, right? So, right where we at here? Okay, so we got 5 takeaways There was perfect attendance, which is nice. Now, obviously, everybody who showed up was not participating. Now, there was some guys who had like a bug, stomach bug. Apparently, listen to Big Blue Kickoff Live. It seemed like it kind of hit maybe kind of like the running back room, maybe a little bit. But so there were some guys that were there who did not participate because they had like a bug. But there's other guys. They're guys like Andrew Thomas, right? Guys that are coming back from injuries, and John Runyon Jr. That they're taking their time with. But apparently everybody was there. Malik Nabers was there. Did not participate because he's got his toe. He's had a problem with his toe. He's had it for years. So Daboll was obviously pleased with the perfect attendance at the voluntary workouts thus far. Once again, it's just voluntary. So some guys don't have to be there, right? We've had a productive, month and a half here since they've been back. Everybody's here today. Not everybody will participate, but everybody's here, and we've had a great attendance throughout the off-season program. So look forward to getting out there and getting started, he said. Of course, Malik Nabers sits, right? Let's see, Phase 3, which began on Tuesday, will consist of non-contact football activities, such as 7-on-7s and 11-on-11 drills. Daboll said second-year wideout Malik Nabers would not participate due to an ongoing toe issue. Apparently, he doesn't need surgery. He just needs rest. So, let's see, Malik will be out here today, but he won't be participating. We're being mindful of his toe that he's had. Nothing serious, but we're being smart with him in terms of the rehab part of it. So that's where we're at, he said. Our doctors, our trainers, if you will, have a plan to kind of move him along, and he's been doing a good job with that. He's had it for a while back in college, too, so he's just trying to be smart. So, and he said that Daboll said that Nabers did not have off-season procedure or surgery, whatever, on his toe. But the quarterback plan. Daboll also noted that all the quarterbacks would get reps in drills, including first-round pick Jaxson Dart, who has not yet come to terms on his rookie deal as of yet. They all get reps, he said. They all get reps at various spots. So we've got a plan for that, and we've been working that since they've been here. But they'll all get reps. So injury updates. In addition to Daboll said that left tackle Andrew Thomas will not work. Thomas was held to just 6 games last season with a foot injury and is recovering from surgery. The big question here, we're going to be talking about him in just a couple minutes here, right? Can the guy stay healthy? Other players who will take it slow in these drills are defensive backs Anthony Johnson, who had a shoulder, Paulson and Debo, who broke his leg last year. Yeah. Let's see. There'll be a few guys here Andrew will be smart with and keep rehabbing him. There were a couple guys that are sick, have a stomach bug, that won't be out there. Daboll said. Anthony Johnson, he's another guy. He had a shoulder, but we have good attendance. Some of these guys were, again, each of those players have individual rehab plans. It's May, so it's important that they progress so we can get them ready for training camp here. And if they're ready to go later on in this process, then we'll do what they can do. Daboll mentioned that all pro defensive lineman Sexy Dexy with his elbow and guard John Runyon Jr. ankle were coming along as well. In terms of the procedures, I say I'm not going to get into who had what and who didn't have what. Runyon will be out here today. He'll be doing individuals. He'll be doing some install stuff. He's been rehabbing. He's doing a nice job with that, he said. Evan Neal, a guard, right? Apparently, the plan to move former first-round pick Evan Neal from tackle to guard is in motion. Evan's a smart guy. He'll be out here today. We will work him at guard, and I know he's excited about the opportunity he has. Yeah. Daboll said, Look, he's a big man. He's got length. He's obviously a little bit taller than, I'd say, traditional guards, but he's played it. He played his first year at Alabama. He played it at a very, very good level. His first year at Alabama, he was a guard, and he did very well. Now, the thing is, he played, if he played in his second and third season too, would he kept going up? Don't know, but he did play it at Alabama, and his PFF grades were not bad. His PFF grades were higher when he was a tackle at Alabama, but it was his first year at Alabama. He played guard, and the numbers were not bad. Were not bad. So, but one thing to keep in mind, Evan Neal was the highest graded offensive lineman run blocking for the Giants last year. He graded out at an 80. I'm going to get this wrong. I think it was zone run blocking. I think I'd have to go back and look. I think, if I remember correctly, he graded out at 90 that last year for the Giants. So his run, whatever the new offensive line coach is teaching, he's done pretty good. Now he's still having a problem at tackle, at pass protection. Being a guard and being a tackle, obviously two totally different things. When you're in a guard, the guy's right in front of you. There's usually a quicker contact. You got stunts and twists and all of that. Usually the guy in front of you is obviously maybe bigger, stronger, maybe than the athletic freak on the outside. So it's different. Okay, but so let's see what he can do. Right? Let's see what he can do. But I mean, he's had nothing but troubles trying to get back and set and going up against some of these athletic freaks that these defensive ends are. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it would be fantastic if if they find their guard of the future. It would be fantastic. But once again, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Yeah, right. So he's been working hard. Daboll said hard with this last month and a half, and looking forward to getting him out there. Whether Neal also sees reps at tackles uncertain. So we'll have to wait and see. But there are a ton of guys could possibly be guards. I said there's Kubas, there's Stinney, there's GVR, Neal, and possibly, if they would just, I'm not sure what they have in mind for Zudu, but possibly even a Zudu. So I'll have to wait and see. Zudu's he's had his problems too when he's been a tackle. So we have to wait and see. But we have a lot of guards. All right, then I've seen this. Now, the most indispensable, the ones that the Giants just cannot do without. Now, that was the one guy here, right, is kind of the guy that makes the whole offensive line go, is Andrew Thomas. If we have Andrew Thomas, okay, because you know, was it week 5 or week 6 last year? We were obviously not a top 5 unit by any stretch of the imagination last year, but we were. You could win with the way they were performing, but once Andrew Thomas got injured, the wheels just started falling off. And before the season was over with, I think we were tied for the most, right? Offensive line configurations, if the season was over, I think we had like 10 different starting offensive line units in there. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. And the problem, of course, with Andrew Thomas is, I don't want to say he's getting close to retirement, but he's getting up there. But every year, past couple of years, he's injuries. Can the guy stay healthy? Right. But, all right, so we got the most indispensable New York Giants. So, number one on the list, one who the team can't afford to lose is Mr. Thomas. Despite his struggles to stay on the field the last 2 seasons, Andrew Thomas ranks as the top most indispensable Giants player according to the SI team. The guy has to stay healthy. The number 2 indispensable guy is the best in the NFL at what he does. The sexy one. New York Giants interior defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence II is the best nose tackle in the NFL. The number 3 indispensable guy. Look for number 3 to top his impressive 2024 season stats. Look for Mr. Malik Nabers. If you thought Malik Nabers was impressive last year, just wait until you see what he'll probably be able to do with a more stable quarterback play. I mean, it just, it's obviously the quarterback play is huge. The offensive line play is huge too. Would he benefit from another stud wide receiver? Now, it has the good and the bad to it, right? Because if you got another, something the Giants really could use. Another, I love me Darius Slayton. I'll take him 10 ways to Tuesday, boy. I love him. Glad we brought him back. He's a pro's pro. Really happy they brought him back. But, bringing it, look at the Eagles, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Right? We could use it. Maybe we get in the draft next year. Early round, first round, first day 1 or day 2 pick in the draft. Another good wide receiver. So that's the dilemma, right? Is if you get another real good wide receiver, that's going to help maybe free Malik up a little bit more. But if you got another good wide receiver, he's going to get some, right? He's going to get the ball thrown his way too. So let's not forget about Wan'Dale Robinson. He had a ton of balls thrown his way last year too. But if Malik can stay healthy, because let's not forget he missed a couple games last year. He had a concussion, right? So if he can stay healthy, it's better quarterback play. Oh yeah. All right, so number 4, number 4 indispensable Giant, Russell Wilson. Giants are counting on Russell Wilson to jumpstart their sluggish offense for the past 2 years. Now, the one nice thing about with Russell Wilson, obviously, what he loves to do, he's very good at the deep ball, right? A nice touch on it and everything, right? Especially with maybe a ball down the sideline or whatever, So, but, guy's been around for a while. He won 1 Super Bowl. Should have won 2 Super Bowls, if not for the stupidest call in Super Bowl history. But, I think without question, we're going to get some better quarterback play. Now, the thing is, the question is that, how does it go, with Dart? If the Giants start, floundering, I hope not. But after like 10 games, say we're 3-7, I hope not. But if we are, when does Dart come in there, right? But Wilson is going to be huge for the Giants this year. Player number 5, the most indispensable Giants. Quite possibly the Giants' best pass rusher, right? Giants offensive lineman Brian Burns proved to be well worth the investment the Giants made in him last season. And all the guy had was one injury after the other, and he played in every game. Guy's a warrior. The number 6 most indispensable Giant, Abdul Carter. The 3rd overall pick in the draft lands on our most indispensable list, despite having never played a down in the NFL. The number 7 most indispensable New York Giant. Still valuable despite a forgettable 2024 campaign. Now, you're kind of wondering, right, with the campaign, did some of it have to do with his back, or how long was his back bother him? Was it, did he just flourish better in the Wink Martindale system, or is Bowens, not getting the best out of Bobby Okereke? We'll have to wait and see. But number 7 most indispensable New York Giant, Bobby Okereke, is one of the most indispensable Giants, making the defense run at a high level. So then they got here. Honorable mention number 1 is a playmaker. Cornerback Paulson Adebo will hopefully bring his ability to the Giants' defensive secondary. And, of course, the Giants can't afford to lose this underrated honorable mention. Now, this guy was very underrated last year. But, for what he did for the team, Illuminor. Offensive tackle Jermaine Illuminor had a great first season with the Giants, making himself one of the players the Giants can't at least afford to lose. Because let's not forget, right? He was on the right side, then he had to go to the left side, and he played at a very good level. Then they also have here, Giants have suffered without this honorable mention, which would be Graham Gano. Graham Gano has proven to be a valuable piece who is often missed when he is not on the field. Well, once again, with him, we're going to have to wait and see. Okay, with Graham Gano, right? Because he's possibly could be a cut candidate, or letting him go, because the Giants would save themselves some money. He's getting up there in age. In 2022, he was like automatic. It was just unbelievable how well he did for the Giants. Anything like over 50 yards. A Giants going to try a 54-yard field goal. You could just get up, go to the bathroom, grab yourself a sandwich, come back, and we had 3 points. It was just unbelievable. But he has had some injuries the past couple of seasons. So can he stay healthy? Or the Giants, I said, the Giants are jonesing for some money. They need some money, right? They don't have a lot of salary cap space. Dart still hasn't signed his contract. So they could use to save some money here and there. So possibly, a Nacho, right? Possibly they might let him go. Graham Gano, right? A couple of the things the problems that they have is with their money is the dead money between Daniel Jones and Darren Waller. After this season's over with, both those guys are off the books. So we'll save ourselves some money there. Now, I've seen this here. I guess it was all about the Benjamins, right? Dart. I guess he had a chance. I guess he had a chance, right? To get the number 2 jersey from Banks, but it's up to just because a guy might want your jersey number, okay, let's go. But once again, it's like a trade. It takes 2 to tango, right? Now let's not forget, it was Kayvon, right? And him and Graham Gano. He wanted number 5. Right, Graham Gano, but a reasonable. I forgot what it was. It was like $50,000 or something like that. But what it wasn't so much $50,000. Okay, it was, or whatever it was. I think it was somewhere around there. It was donate the money to a charity, and I really like that. So it wasn't like Graham Gano was like gonna benefit from it. No, it was the money was getting donated, right? And it wasn't a ton of money, right? So I mean, Jaxson Dart, he thought about maybe going for. So all you can do is ask, right? All you can do is ask, but apparently the asking price was a little too high. So, but let's say so. Jaxson Dart draws a line at buying number 2 jersey from Tay Banks. He said it was just too much money. Jaxson Dart isn't about to supplement teammate Tay Banks' income as quickly as fellow quarterback Russell Wilson did. Dart, who is wearing number 6 in Giants practices, wore number 2 at Ole Miss. That number currently belongs to Banks, who acquired it in March when he cut an undisclosed deal with Wilson to surrender number 3 to the new starting quarterback. 1 month later, the Giants drafted Dart, who talked with Banks about the cost of asking him to make another switch. I mean, I'm saying it's like after a while. Yeah, I mean, Banks had number 3. They got Wilson, so he cut a deal with Wilson, whatever it was. Apparently, we don't know what it is. Now he's wearing number 2. So I mean, it's every time he's going to get a jersey, a quarterback's going to come in and want to take it. I mean, so either way, I can't blame Banks. But Dart said that the cost to change jersey numbers with teammate Banks is just too much. Banks wore number 3 last season, but accepted a deal with Russell Wilson for that number. Yeah, it was just too much, Dart told the media with a laugh. Just too much. Dart hasn't yet inked his contract yet, but based on the NFL rookie wage scale, he's expected to receive a 4-year, $16.9 million deal that includes nearly a $9 million signing bonus. Asked during rookie minicamp earlier this month if number 6 was a permanent choice, Dart said that was still under consideration. I mean, it's, what you do is you can just take the number, right, and make it great. Right? I think we'll come to a final decision here soon, Dart said. Quite honestly, I kind of have to just look at the pictures to see if I like myself in number 6. No change has been made yet, as the Giants have posted photos of Dart wearing number 6 during spring workouts. Players will be on the field for OTA practices open to the media beginning this week. Banks, the 2023 first-round pick, wore number 24 during a promising rookie season. He switched to number 3 after Sterling Shepard left the team, and his play nosedived in 2024. Now he is number 2 after Drew Lock left. Right? Banks is halfway through a 4-year, $13.5 million contract. It's common practice in pro sports for teammates to charge one another to give up a number, though there is no universal rate. No, there's not. Wilson, who has earned more than $305 million on the field during a nine-time Pro Bowl career, surely had the funds to meet any price for number 3. So, now, I mean, you can also look at it like that too, right? I mean, is that, yeah. Right? If Banks isn't doing such a good job, right? I mean, the Giants may not quite pass. Well, this will be his 3rd season. After this season, before next season starts, they have to declare, right, as they did this year with Neal and Thibodeau, are they going to pick up his 5th-year option, right? So, I mean, Dart's going to be here, right? You don't know if Banks will be. So, if Banks isn't around here for X amount of years and they don't pick up his 5th-year option and say I hope not. I hope he comes back and kicks butt. That would be great. But if he's not, right, that means if the Giants were to cut ties with Banks after, say, 2 more seasons, well, then Dart can have his number 2. Right? It is what it is. But, it's like kind of like what Lawrence Taylor said to Abdul Carter, take a number and make it great. Right? That's all you got to do. But it's all up to the guys. There's no universal, amount of money to charge another guy to change jersey numbers. It is what it is. Right? Now, this one I seen is, very, very interesting. And I got an article here that said, did Jalin Hyatt clash with the coaching staff in 2024? Very interesting. Possibility, right? Let's see here. I could. Giants insider says former Tennessee wide receiver Jalin Hyatt clashed with the coaching staff and upper management in New York in 2024. Mm-hmm. Former Tennessee volunteer wide receiver Jalin Hyatt has had a slow start to his NFL career. Hyatt, a third-round selection by the Giants, showed a promise as a rookie, catching 23 passes for 373 yards in his debut season. Still has not caught a touchdown pass. The former volunteer, however, barely saw the field for the Giants in 2024. Yeah, it was almost like, what happened to him? What happened to him? But last season, right? So after he caught 23 passes his rookie season last year, he caught a third of that. He caught only 8 passes for 62 yards, 7.5 yards of reception. And he only had 19 targets. Hyatt was talked up by the Giants coaching staff ahead of the 2024 season, so why wasn't he utilized more? According to SNY Giants insider Connor Hughes, it was partially because Hyatt mentally checked out at points last season after clashing with the coaching staff and upper management. Interesting. A lot of this falls on Hyatt, though. He mentally checked out at points last season after clashing with the coaching staff and upper management. There was no reason he should have been as uninvolved as he was at points last season. He's a player with a skill set that the Giants should be able to use. Some players simply can't get out of the doghouse. That was the problem last year. If Hyatt shows up with a recommitment to the playbook, practice, and games, and improves his route running, then yes, he should be more productive with Wilson than he was with Daniel Jones. I was like Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito. The start of Hyatt's NFL career kind of mirrors the start of and Tim Boyle, right? Mirrors his start at Tennessee. Hyatt was moderately productive as a true freshman with Tennessee in 2020 before seeing his production take a slight dip in 2021. 2022, Hyatt was the best wide receiver in college football, winning the Blitnikoff Award. He caught 67 passes, 1,267 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Hyatt's big jump in 2022 came after he admitted that his mind wasn't in the right place in 2021. As a competitor, if you aren't out there with your guys, every snap it eats at you, said Hyatt during spring practice before the 2022 season. I struggled with it last year. I look back on last season on what I did wrong. We got back to the planning board, and I've tried to be consistent in being here in the facility. The former Tennessee Volunteer has been in this situation before, and he was able to overcome it before. What Hyatt went through at Tennessee should help him get past his slow start in the NFL. The elite skills are still there for Hyatt. I mean, that's the reason why we traded up for him. We were in the third round, and we traded up in the third round to get the guy. Hyatt's struggles last season, by the way, aren't entirely on him. The Giants' quarterback situation was a mess. Oh, yeah, absolutely. With a new and improved quarterback room in New York, with Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Jaxson Dart, and a better mindset, there's no reason that Hyatt can't deliver on his potential in 2025, as long as he gets an opportunity. Well, we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, if he's checking out, if he's checking out, He did it at Tennessee, right? I don't know what, why would he still do it in the pros? So if he's not being utilized, if he's not playing enough, he just starts checking out and just, I don't know. It's, so once again, sometimes there's a reason, even though the guy is really, really good and all this stuff and everything, sometimes there's a reason why the guy, goes to the third round. So we'll have to wait and see. I said it'd just be such a stinking shame, because we did wind up trading up for the guy, and you trade up for a guy, of course, your third round pick and a fifth round pick to go up there and get the guy, right? And we've had him for 2 seasons, and still hasn't scored a touchdown. What was it? 23. What did he get? 31 receptions in 2 seasons. I mean, not impressive. But right, Giants apparently are still, in talks or possibly right with Gabe Davis. Right now, you're going like the extreme. Right, with this guy here, one out of about, I think was with the Bills or is in his career. I'm going to look at the stats. Right, I think 1 out of every 6 receptions for this guy. I mean, I think he's setting NFL records with receptions in a season. He's not, but I mean, 1 out of like every 6 times he catches the pass, it goes for a touchdown. I mean, that's impressive. His time with Buffalo, he spent 2 seasons, right, with Shane and Daboll in Buffalo, 2020 and 2021. 2022, 2023, he was with Buffalo. 2024, last season, he was with the Jaguars, although he did get injured, right? But the 4 years he was with Buffalo, also, I think he missed 2 games. I think, so he's been relatively healthy. He's been available, right? Of course, we're talking about Buffalo, so he had good quarterback play. Let's not forget about that, right? He also had another good wide receiver, right, with Diggs, which obviously would help him out. Now, here in New York, he'll have himself a fine wide receiver if we sign him, bring him in here, okay? A lot of the attention is going to be put on Malik Nabers, obviously, right? Which would certainly help Gabe Davis if the Giants would have wind up bringing him in here. But let's see where we at here. Okay. Now let's see. 2020 and 2021, he had 35 receptions. Whoopie-doo, right? But his rookie season, 35 catches, 7 touchdown receptions. 1 out of every 5 times he caught the pass, he went for a touchdown. Okay, it was with Buffalo. Yeah. His 4 years of Buffalo. Now, once again, in Buffalo, they got a pretty good quarterback there. Right? You got to keep this in mind. But he had 163 receptions. 27 touchdowns. So 1 out of every 6 times he caught the ball, he scored a touchdown. I mean, he's not catching 100 passes, right? His highest reception total was in 2022. He caught 48 passes, but he had 7 touchdowns. So basically 1 out of every 7 times he caught a pass, he went for a touchdown. 2023, he caught 45 balls, 7 touchdowns. Last season with Jacksonville, he only had 2 touchdowns on 20 receptions, but he only played in 10 games. He got injured. But with Buffalo, his rookie season, he averaged 17.1 yards of reception, then 15.7, then 17.4, and 16.6. So with Buffalo, he averaged 16.7 yards of reception. So, and I said his amount of times he catches a touchdown pass is just unbelievable. Reportedly in talks with playmaker in the NFL free agency. Giants addressed their quarterback position this offseason, bringing in Wilson and Winston along with Jaxson Dart. Now, the Giants are reportedly looking into offensive weapons. Now, but also let's not forget the Giants don't have a ton of cap space either. Connor Hughes of Sportsnet New York reports that the Giants are in contact with veteran wide receiver Gabe Davis following his visit earlier this month. There's mutual interest between the two sides, but Davis has also met with the 49ers and is on the radar for a few other clubs as well, too. Now, last year, as I said, with Davis, he only caught 20 passes with the Jaguars, 239 yards. So he averaged like 12 yards of reception. He only had 2 touchdowns. New York could potentially have a small advantage in its favor. Giants general manager Joe Schoen worked as the Buffalo's assistant general manager when they selected Davis with the 128th overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. And, of course, Daboll was there, too. In addition, Giants head coach Brian Daboll called plays for the Bills' offense with Davis during his first 2 seasons there. So, Davis at age 26 was released by the Jaguars just a year after signing a 3-year, $39 million contract with the club. However, across 4 seasons in Buffalo, he averaged 16.7 yards per reception, 27 touchdowns in 64 games. In 2 seasons with Daboll as his play call, he averaged 507 receiving yards per season, 13 touchdowns, and averaged 16.4 yards of reception. While Nabers and Slayton project to be the Giants' top pass catchers in 2025, Davis would fill an obvious role in New York. He could take Jalen Hyatt's spot, serving as the vertical threat that the 3rd-round pick in 2020 that the Giants at Hyatt never became. So we'll have to wait and see now. Given the recent reporting on Hyatt, he appears to be the player New York is trying to replace, and Davis would be an upgrade. Let's see what we got here, too. So, once again, here it says here, right? Deal between the Giants and Gabe Davis could still happen. Nearly 2 weeks ago, Davis took part in a free agency visit with the Giants. No deal is in place at this point, but appears an agreement between the two parties could still come about. Team and player have remained in contact in this case. SNY's Connor Hughes writes, Davis obviously represents a familiar face for head coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen after they worked together during their time in Buffalo. The recent visit would have allowed New York to elevate the status of Davis's knee as he recovers from meniscus surgery. That procedure ended the 26-year-old's debut campaign with the Jaguars. Davis came to Jacksonville as an established deep threat based on his tenure with the Bills, but he was unable to duplicate his production when healthy for Jacksonville. 10 games, the former 4th rounder only recorded 20 receptions and averaged only 12 yards per catch. The Jaguars' new regime decided to release him despite 2 years remaining on his contract. Giants receiver depth chart will be led obviously by Malik Nabers. Let's see. Long attached to trade rumors, re-signed on another 2-year deal is Darius Slayton. Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt, meanwhile, are still in place on their rookie contracts. New York's offseason additions include the free agent signings of Zach Pascal and Lil Jordan Humphrey, who's not so little. As a result, Davis would have plenty of competition for playing time in the event he were to sign with the Giants. The 49ers, the other team he also visited, have substantially more cap space as things stand. But if talks with New York continue, a deal could still be on the table, allowing Davis to reunite with Daboll and Schoen. I mean, that's one of those things. That's why you never want to, burn any bridges or anything like that. You always treat guys with, courtesy and respect and all of that, because you never know. You never know, right? You leave the team here, right? And a couple of years later, Gabe Davis might come available. Now, once again, is he an all-pro? Is he a pro bowler? No. But, could the Giants use somebody like him? Absolutely. That was one of the things the Giants I really would like to see him get. Obviously, they can't really do it now. But next season, like either in the draft or in free agency, right? Get another good wide receiver. That would really, really help. So, but if the Giants could ink Davis, right? As I said, the familiarity with Shane and Daboll is there. It would really, really be nice. Regardless if they get Davis or not, I really would love to see him, like especially next season, get a wide receiver. I said, in free agency, I'm not sure exactly all of the free agent wide receivers that'll be available next season, but in the first or second day of the NFL draft, first couple rounds, if they can get themselves a wide receiver, man, that would be absolutely freaking awesome. Now, this is something I've done this. I mean, this is at least the third. I'd have to look, but this is at least the third year when Memorial Day rolls around. I couldn't do this on Memorial Day because I had family come over, and here it is. It's 12:15, right, in the morning, right, and the family had coming over. On my wife's side, the people are absolutely fantastic, but they go to bed early, right? And here it is. I said it's after 12 o'clock, and I'm still up and I'm still talking. And actually, where they're sleeping at would be right above me. So as I'm speaking and talking, I'd be keeping them up, and also I am. So that the family, my wife's family, that was here for about 5 days or so, they went back home. Okay, so. That's why now I'm doing this. But I've done this at least the third season. There's two guys, Al Bloses and Jack Lummis. I was, on Memorial Day, I always pay tribute to these two guys. But that's why Al Bloses. That's why you'll notice there's no Giants that wear number 32. They retired his number. These two guys, Bloses and Lummis. They passed away, and they gave their life in World War II, right? But the first guy here, Al Bloses, I mean, he was basically a giant among men. He was 6'6", 250 pounds. He was a tackle, and he was an unbelievable athlete, unbelievable. He could have been one of the all-time greats, really, but. When it came time to serve, he wanted to serve his country. We were in war, but because of his size, he had a very, very hard time getting in. Very hard time getting in. All right, we got here. So he was born, Al Bloses, on January 5th, 1919, in New Jersey. Let's see. He was very good at track and field, became known for his discus throw and shot put. At Georgetown University, he won a couple of indoor events or shot put titles 3 years in a row from 40 to 42. Indoor and outdoor shot put titles. He had a best shot put of 57 feet, 3/4 inches. In 2015, Bloses was inducted into the National Track and Field Hall of Fame. Now, Bloses was drafted in the 5th round of the 1942 NFL draft and played offensive tackle for the Giants in 42 and 43 before entering the military. He was also to play in 3 games in 1944 while on furlough. Now, he was a first team All-Pro in 1943. He was an NFL All-Star in 1942. He only played basically in 2 seasons, and he was so good. He was in the NFL's 1940s All-Decade team. He only played 2 seasons. Okay. He was in the New York Giants Ring of Honor. Number 32 has been retired, and let's hope it stays retired. He was a first-team All-Eastern in 1941. He went into the Army. The Giants retired as number 32. A second player, actually, Jack Loomis, who I'm going to talk about, also died in World War II as well. Now I'm going to go over this a little bit more in depth and detail here, but with Alblozis here, the very size that made him so intimidating on a football field kept him out of the military until late 1943. When, after repeated attempts, Blozis finally persuaded the Army to waive the size limit and accept him. It took further persuading to get him from a desk job to the front lines. They gave him a desk job. He's like, I came here to fight for my country. Right? Blozis was inducted into the United States Army on December 9th, 1943. He was first assigned to duty as a physical instructor at the Walter Reed General Hospital, and then went through officer training at Fort Benning, where he set this is freaking unbelievable. He set the Army's hand grenade throwing record with a toss of 94 yards, 2 feet, 6.5 inches. He threw a hand grenade almost the length of a football field, which is freaking crazy. If you know how heavy a hand grenade is. Unbelievable. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the 28th Infantry Division. On January 31st, 1945, his platoon was in the mountains of France, scouting enemy lines, scouting the Germans. When two of his men, a sergeant and a private, failed to return from a patrol, he went in search of them alone. He never returned. Now I'm going to read this over. This is a little more in depth and detail here. Now, there's what happened was, whoa, love your show. Thank you. You got it, brother. Hey, do it up, brother. Do it up. Hoping to grow my podcast more and more. Yeah. You just got to keep doing it. Stay in there with it, brother. Stay in there with it. But with Alblozis, what they have in Wikipedia, right, is that a couple of his men left. He never came back, and he went out to look for him. And there was no in-depth and detail of exactly what happened, although his bullet-riddled body was found a couple months later that confirmed his death. But there's a letter that was written by one of the guys that served under Al, that wrote in depth and detail exactly how he gave it his all. So there's a letter here I'm going to read, and hopefully I don't frickin' break up on this, because some of this crap just frickin' kills me. So, but I'm going to read this letter here. Okay. All right, let me read it here. Okay, here we go. Early in 1945. One of the patrols under Al's command did not return. Al went to search for them, and he never returned from that mission. Blozis was killed by German machine gun fire during the search, which was part of the Battle of Black Mountain in the mountains of near Colmar. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Colmar, France. There's an account of a letter written by somebody he went looking for. This is a letter sent to a now defunct website that appears to have been saved by the Georgetown University, and we are thankful and will show it in its entirety. Guy who wrote this was Paul Lambert. My name is Paul Lambert, and I just stumbled on your website and story of Alblozis. It was very interesting to me because I was one of the 4 he went looking for. I remember the day he led us down to the little village in the valley below. It was my birthday. There were 12 of us, but a German sniper wounded one of the men just before we reached the little village. I was a machine gunner. Al sent me and 3 others to the furthest outpost. I don't know where he sent the other 7, but evidently they all got out of there safely. As soon as we got to the place where we were supposed to set up the machine gun, a big old farmhouse at the end of the valley, a German sniper got one of my 3 buddies and killed them. That left only 3 of us to manage that gun 24 hours a day for 5 days. We were pretty much exhausted and just about out of ammo and food. On that last day, I knew I had to get back to the command post that Al had set up in a little schoolhouse at the bottom of the mountain where we entered the village. It was snowing and visibility was next to zero. I left my 2 buddies to man the gun and took off very cautiously toward the command post about a quarter mile away. In the dense snow, as I got about halfway, I saw a huge form advancing toward me. Now, let's not forget, Al Moses was 6'6". He was 250, so he wasn't, but he was 6 foot. He was a big freaking dude. I stopped with my pistol ready and then suddenly realized it was Al. It was Lieutenant Bloses, and he recognized me. I was about to say something, but he motioned to me to be quiet. Just then, there was a blast from a German machine gun, and Lieutenant Bloses fell backwards to the ground. I carefully crawled on my stomach to him. There. But he was dead. He had several bullet holes in his body. I could do nothing except getting back to my outpost. I knew nothing about what was happening to my company. When I got back, I told my 2 surviving buddies what had happened. We didn't know what to do because we had no orders or any communications. We knew that we just couldn't desert our post. If we didn't get help very soon, we were garnished because the Germans were not taking any prisoners. Just toward evening, an old man from the village came to us and told us that we had to get out of there because our comrades had all left. He told us we were surrounded by Germans, and he pointed out the only chance we had of getting out of there. He showed us the direction to go and where to start climbing back over the mountain. That was the least German-infested route. It took us 4 nights of climbing in waist-high snow to get over the mountaintop and over to the American side. We only had to kill 1 German soldier on the way out. The rest of the story is long, and I won't get into it. However, I will say we were able to get back to our outfits just in time to join the big attack on Colmar. The ironic part of the story is that as we were advancing under the artillery fire from the Germans, I was alongside Lieutenant Bloses' replacement, Lieutenant Johns. Now, this is. It was his first time in battle. I had to stop along the road to adjust one of my shoes that was hurting me. A few seconds later, an artillery shell came in just on top of the new lieutenant, and it instantly killed him. There is no one else that knows the end of the story except one buddy who I know is still living somewhere in Texas. These are the facts. Lieutenant Bloses was a real American hero who would never leave any of his men under any circumstances. Now you know the whole story. I'm 83 years old, and I would hate to have died and taken this with me. So that was, that crap just freaking kills me, man. But that was Al Bloses. Now there's 2 guys that gave it their all. I mean, and this other story is just Jack Loomis is just as crazy as that one was. But it just goes to show you, I mean, the guy, he could have, he got into, because of his size, they didn't want him, right? So he fought to get in. And they're like, all right, we'll take you. You sit down at a desk over here, okay? You got the desk job, nice and cushy, right? And when the war's over, you can go home and play some football. He didn't want that. He didn't want that. He was one of the best players in the NFL at the time, one of the best tackles at the time. And Mel Hine, okay, who played with him. Mel Hine was 1938 was the NFL MVP as a center. He played like middle guard too, like a middle kind of linebacker, but he was the NFL MVP as a center. That don't happen very often. right? So Mel Hine, who played with him, said, Alblozis could have possibly one of been the greatest tackles of all time. So, so he could have came back in 1945. The war was over. July or August of 45, Alblozis would have started playing football in 1945, right? Giants, 1946, we went to the championship game. So, so he had some good times in front of him. He could have made some money, played some football. Heck, he could have been in the Hall of Fame. He didn't want that, right? So what he did? He sent some guys out, and he went out looking for him, right? Gave his life. Right, so that's Alblozis, and his number 32 is retired by the Giants. That's why you never see number 32 ever worn. And now we got this guy, right? He was an end. He was a real good athlete, really, really good athlete, Jack Loomis. I think he only caught one pass in his Giants career. But, a lot of the ends back then didn't necessarily catch a lot of passes, right? But Loomis, he was in college, he was let me read that. I think it was SMU he was at. Let's see here. No, let's see. Jack Loomis was born October 22nd, 1915. And he was an officer in the U.S. Marine Corps. He was a two-sport athlete at Baylor. I apologize. I thought it was SMU. Baylor. He played football, okay, and I think he played baseball too. Does it have his stuff here? No, he's in the Ring of Honor. Yeah, he's got a lot of awards from the military. Let's see. Okay, he went to Baylor. He enrolled at Baylor on September 14, 1937. He was an All-Southwest Conference center fielder, so it was baseball, for 3 years, and an outstanding end on the football team. Those 3 years, the Bears finished third in baseball, and Loomis was considered to be the best center fielder that had ever played for Baylor. He was a fantastic athlete. In football, he played first string and he wore number 53. For 2 consecutive years, he was nominated by the Associated Press to the All-American team. And in 1938, he made honorable mention for the team. He was sometimes compared to Sam Boyd. Before he left Baylor, he signed a minor league baseball contract and his uniform player's contract to be with the Giants, to play with baseball Giants. On May 26, 1941, Jack Loomis, an Army Air Corps recruiter, came to the school. Loomis and 25 other students enlisted in the Air Corps and signed up for civilian flying school as a result of the visit. While waiting for the Air Corps to call him, Loomis inexplicably dropped out of Baylor. He was going to graduate soon, and his academic record showed satisfactory grades. The ongoing war in Europe was thought to have influenced his decision. Let's see. Loomis reported to Hicks Field, 40 miles northwest of Fort Worth, Texas, to enroll in flight school there that was licensed by the Army but run by civilians. While making his first solo flight, this is kind of odd, he flew the flight plan and landed without flaw. While taxiing on the runway, however, he accidentally clipped the fence with his wingtip, washing him out of flight school. He then traveled to the Giants training camp in Superior, Wisconsin. As one of 30 players who made the Giants roster, he wore number 29. He had signed on as a free agent and received a $100 monthly salary. He made the team as a rookie and then played in 9 games. On December 7, 1941, the Giants were playing the arch-rival Brooklyn Dodgers. Around halftime, the Associated Press ticker in the press box gave out a message saying, "Airplanes identified as Japanese have attacked American naval base at Pearl Harbor." The players continued the game knowing nothing of the attack. The Giants lost, but went on to play the Chicago Bears in the championship game. Anyway, so So Loomis, after the championship game, Loomis enlisted in the Marine Corps Reserve on January 30th, 1942, after finishing basic training at Main Side Recruit Training Center in San Diego, California. In January 1944, he was assigned as an executive officer. The division transferred to Camp Tarawa outside of Hawaii. Loomis boarded the USS Henry Clay for the trip, and after 4 months of training, the division was assigned to the V Amphibious Corps and would fight to take the island of Iwo Jima. My God, Iwo Jima, right? So I got the same thing here. I want to read this here. Whoops. All right. Where are we at here? Okay. He did. Loomis caught only one pass for 5 yards. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Okay. Loomis headed for the. Wait. All right. Okay. So once they landed on Iwo Jima, he was dispatched to lead a rifle platoon from Company E to secure a pass through a key gorge where he and his men were pinned down by Japanese sniper fire for a day and a half. According to the military reports acquired by Mary Hartman, Loomis' interest in California, he grew so impatient with the stalled advance that he decided to spring into action. Finally, Jack could bear it no longer, she wrote. He raced into no man's land, sprinting in the graceful gazelle-like style that had scored him so many touchdowns. Loomis headed for the first of 3 pillboxes he would take out that day when an enemy grenade exploded nearby, concussing him as he fell to the ground. Undaunted, he climbed to his feet and led a charge to the second enemy position where a second grenade struck, wounding him. But Loomis rose again, charging the second target and killing the snipers inside. Freaking unbelievable. That left one final pillbox, and it was the most challenging. Armed with a heavy machine gun, its fire scattered Loomis's men. But in a heroic scene that seems scripted by Hollywood, in fact, it was documented by the military. Loomis is once again charged and silenced the bunker's occupants. Afterwards, the wounded junior officer rallied his Marines to clear Japanese positions from additional pillboxes, caves, spider traps, and even cover created by naval airstrikes to get through the gorge. And that's when it happened. Loomis stepped on a landmine that shredded his legs and feet. He would not survive the day. As he was carried to medical aid, he said, "Well, it looks like the Giants have lost a damn good end." Reports say that he repeated that phrase several times, perhaps as a mantra or prayer. The Marine Company's Fox and East moved through the gorge and completed their objective, but it came at the highest of cost for Loomis. He was one of over 6,800 men killed in the taking of Iwo Jima. Hartman's research showed that doctors thought Loomis could have survived his lower leg injuries, but that he couldn't overcome internal damage caused perhaps by the pair of exploding grenades that landed near him. For his heroics, Loomis was awarded the Medal of Honor, the United States Armed Forces' highest decorations, with a citation that read, "By his outstanding valor, skilled tactics, and tenacious perseverance in the face of overwhelming odds, First Lieutenant Loomis had inspired his stout-hearted Marines to continue the relentless drive northward, thereby contributing materially to the success of his regimental missions. His dauntless leadership and unwavering devotion to duty throughout to sustain and enhance the highest traditions of the U.S. Naval Services. He gallantly gave his life in the service of his country." Now, it also says here, let's see, Despite his minor wounds received from grenade fragmentation, Loomis knocked out 3 enemy strongholds. Well-fortified positions arranged to defend each other, which were preventing his platoon from reaching its objective. Following this action, he stepped on a landmine and was mortally wounded, losing his legs. While laying on the ground, he urged his platoon on until he was carried off to an aid station. In a letter that was written to his mother, Loomis's commanding officer wrote, "Jack suffered very little, for he did not live long. I saw Jack soon after he was hit. With calmness, serenity, and complacency," Jack said, "the New York Giants lost a good man." Then he said, "No, we all lost a good man." So, I mean, it's just, it's just amazing, what these guys do. And unfortunately, it seems like sometimes as time goes by, a lot of this stuff kind of, Memorial Day. Yeah, we're going to cook some burgers. You're going to have some, have a couple cold beers, have some burgers, maybe some hot dogs, listen to some music, maybe go swimming in the pool. Yeah, just what I mean. But you don't. I mean, and what happened to Al Bloses and Jack Loomis is just, a small percentage of the guys, the people that passed away in World War II, World War I, World War II, and all. But I mean, these guys are just true, absolute true heroes. And we always owe them huge debt of gratitude. That's why Al Bloses, number 32, has been retired, right? And Jack, they didn't retire Jack Loomis's number, but those two guys, Al Bloses and Jack Loomis, guys, thank you. You guys are awesome. All right, guys. Well, it's been 1 hour and almost 30 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants! Woo!